Okay. You know what? Let's go to Vaetchanan. That's it with the Dvar in my modem. Okay, page base in Likkutei, Vaetchanan. Okay, the pasuk says, Vaetchanan al Hashem, Moshe in the beginning of the parshat, Vaetchanan says, I davened to Hashem, and he said to Hashem, Hata achilei saladis tzavdecha, you began showing your servant all the great things that you accomplished. So love and to understand, ma achilei, so what does it mean? Hashem, you began. He says, Chilahaya harbe nisim. There were a lot of, what do you mean began? There were so many miracles already. Kriyas Yamsef, Yitzias Mitzrayim, Matan Teir, Melchemes HaMolek. It's like, after massive miracles, Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Hashem. By the way, you just began showing us your wonders. It's plenty shown until now. So he says, V'hinei Omer Chazal tells us like this. We say it in davening, no, not really. Any Omer Chazal tell us, actually, Nivra Ha'olam, before Hashem created the world, the famous expression Chazal Chassidus brings on often, that before Hashem created the world, it was only Him and His name. Bilvad. That was the only thing that existed. It's not understood. The whole purpose of a name is if there's somebody else to identify you, call you, talk about you, whatever. If a person's the only one in the world, he doesn't need a name. So the question is, before Hashem created the world, there was only the existence of Hashem. So what does it mean? It was Him and His name. What do you need a name for before the world was created?
His attributes.
But there are nobody to do attributes to. 1 second. It says in the Zayar, the Tachlis B'riyas Adam. The ultimate purpose of a creation was to let Hashem's greatness be known to the people. To explain this, what does this mean? He says like this. All the descent of the worlds, one world lower than the next, lower, is Tzarech. It's for the sake of elevation, to transform darkness to light. In other words, because the greatness of light is when it comes through darkness, like Shusterman Melech says, it doesn't say Od over darkness. It says Od min hacheshech, which means what Shusterman Melech is saying, he's not telling us, we learned many times, he's not telling us light is better than dark. Every fool knows that. What Shusterman Melech is saying is not Yisrin ha'er al hacheshech. He's saying Yisra min hacheshech, which means that when darkness is transformed to light, is the highest form of light. That's what Shusterman Melech is telling us. Now, if there is no cheshech, in other words, godliness is revealed as is, so there's no klipa, there's no evil, there's no darkness, then you can't have the level of Yisr and Her. Then you can't have the ultimate level of light, because all there is light. So therefore, what did Hashem do? He created darkness, meaning He lowered Himself level after concealment after concealment after concealment to such an extent that He's so concealed we don't even see Him. We don't even know He exists. And in that world, you bring in light. You transform darkness to light. And he says, Malzen, and that's what the pasuk says. No, I skipped.
So we're living in the darkness right now?
What?
We're living in the darkness or we're making it into light?
Well, we're living in darkness because we're making it into darkness. Like, I'll give you an example. Instead of coming to Minyan, somebody decides to sleep. That's called darkness. Heavy darkness. No. Got it?
Usually the bed is dark.
Is that? Is that? That's why Hashem created man on earth. Right? Why He could have created us in Gan Eden. He says, Because this world is a world of darkness. Of kafel mechupel, double darkness. Mitzarech lahar b'neiris. And therefore you need to add a lot of candles. Lohoyer esacheshach, to enlighten the dark. That's why Hashem created the person, that the yid is a level of a candle. Which the yid, through doing Torah mitzvahs and neshama, enlightens the world with the light of neshama. To enlighten olam haza, transform darkness to light. So the Alter Rebbe is explaining the whole purpose of the creation of darkness is for a Jew to bring light in there, and then the light is even a greater level. That's what the pasuk says. Hashem said to Avram Avinu, and then at the end he concludes, what does that mean? It should be a bracha within the earth, which is the children that is the bracha of Hashem, in other words, what did Hashem say to Avram Avinu? Okay, simply Rashi says from the Gemara that when it says no. And then he says so Rashi says in the Gemara that the first three expressions is why we say Likkutei Avram, Likkutei Yitzchak, Likkutei Yaakov. The Hayei Bracha means, how do we conclude the Bracha? Baruch atah Hashem Mogen Avraham. We start the Bracha Shemona Esrei, Baruch atah Hashem Likkutei Avraham, Likkutei Yitzchak, Likkutei Yaakov. Then we finish the Bracha, Baruch atah Hashem Mogen Avram. Why don't we say Baruch atah Hashem Mogen Avram Yitzchak Yaakov like we do at the beginning of the Bracha? So the Gemara says, because the first three were at the beginning, that calls to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. V'hayei bracha, meaning Hashem says to Avram, you though will conclude the bracha. But here the Alter Rebbe is explaining, what does it mean Hashem tells Avram v'hayei bracha? Who's going to be mavrich? Who's going to bring down godliness into the world? You, the Yidden. V'hayei bracha. Kibedei is Baruch Hashem min ha'elam v'ad ha'elam. Mi'alma disgasya la'alma disgalya. Like we say, Baruch Hashem Elokei Yisrael min ha'elam v'ad ha'elam. It doesn't only mean God, you're blessed from world to world. It means God, you come down, bracha, min ha'elam, from the hidden worlds, ad ha'elam, to the revealed worlds. Li'eis havaya b'chinas gilu. That once a godliness should be revealed, who are the ones that reveal godliness in the world? Hem Yisrael, Shem Zed, Berach Hashem, which are the seed of the Bracha of Hashem, V'ner Hashem Nishmat Sodom, V'kama Riba Nishamas Shehem Kama Riba Neidus. And therefore, how many tens of thousands of Jews are there? That's how many tens of thousands of Jews that are Bracha, that are candles. Every Jew is a candle. Ner Hashem Nishmat Sodom. So therefore, if you have 15 million Jews, there's 15 million lights in the world that are supposed to be on, by the way, giving light. Sometimes you got to add and kindle the minay, you got to turn it on. But there are those lights, because based on the darkness is how much light you need. Therefore, nowadays, where the darkness is super great, we need super candles. That's when the Rebbe started with the campaign that little girls should start benching licht. Yeah. So one of the questions they asked the Rebbe, but it wasn't done in previous generations. So the Rebbe answered, first of all, it was done by many in the previous generations. But the Rebbe said very simple. In the previous generations, there was plenty of light. The world was not as dark as it is today. It's not as crazy as it is today. So therefore, if the world was lit up already by itself, then you didn't need to add more licht. So girls didn't have to bench licht. Now that the darkness prevails, it's a crazy amount of darkness, so then you need more candles, more licht to illuminate the darkness. Huh?
Have to change the bulb.
Put in a stronger wattage. Shalafiri b'yachai shevav kafu mechupol kan tzarich liyasri b'yanishenedes b'nishamas. V'gilu zeh sheyispal is b'lev ha'adam mekarev lev ha'amik. Now, how do you light the candle? How do you kindle this candle? So he says, just like a candle flickers, that the flame wants to leave the wick, and the second there's no fuel, there's nothing forcing it to stay, it leaves. The same thing, the candle of Hashem is the neshama flickering to want to be close to Hashem, meaning the rotzel. That is the level of candle, of flame, of light that the Jews bring in the world.
Why do we lit candles every day?
Why do we lit candles every day? Because there's darkness every day. Why do you drink coffee every day?
No, why don't we? Like, why don't we turn on candles every day?
We do. Ner mitzvah v'Torah. But we don't have Shabbos candles because that's for the uniqueness of Shabbos. Extra candles. But a Jew does a mitzvah, ner mitzvah v'Torah. You do a mitzvah, it's a ner. You do a mitzvah, learn Torah, it's odd. That's what we're supposed to do. The gilu zeh sheis bailes belev adam mikerevish v'leiv amak. Lotzis a nefesh metad take. What?
You ask such good questions. You should come every day.
Don't
push your luck.
Don't push your luck here. There's calls to nafshi Hashem. Okay, skip the parentheses, which is 4 lines. And therefore he says like this. It's not enough. So now based on this, Alter Rebbe said, okay, why can't I just meditate into the greatness of Hashem? And that will bring light into the world. You know, people say, I'm a Jew in my heart, whatever. I think about God. Why can't we think? He says, that's not revealing godliness in the world. Because if you think about it, thought, we learned, is alma discassia, the hidden world. Nobody sees your thoughts. Thoughts are hidden. So if a person is going to think into the greatness of Hashem, he's not revealing it in the revealed worlds. You know, you could think about doing mitzvahs. You don't do it in this world. It's worthless.
Isn't it only one revealed world like this right here?
Yep.
So why we say revealed world?
Because God had to lower.
But they're not revealed.
They are revealed more than this world.
More than this world?
Yeah. Atzilus is a more revelation. But here, it's here, yeah. Elo bechinas alma discasses bechinas helem. It's concealment. It doesn't permeate his heart. It's only the level of makif from above, meaning indirectly affecting him. Like he says, the Gemara again. Ganva pu machtarto. When the Ganv is about to break and he davens to Hashem, it doesn't affect the essence of the neshama. The mamish to be one with Hashem. It's like something standing above him. In other words, like this. We all know something is wrong. And yet, we'll do it. Right? You'll do it. The question is, if you know it's wrong, why are you doing it? All of us know we're doing things we shouldn't be. Not, God forbid, sins but, you know, if you know you're not supposed to do it, why are you doing it? No. You know, the question is, but if you know it's right, why are you doing it? Because what you know doesn't affect you. The Rambam says, the Medrash says, if somebody will tell you, Chochma yesh b'goyim, ta'amin. Somebody tells you there's wisdom by a guy, believe him. Torah yesh b'goyim, if somebody will tell you there's Torah by goyim, al ta'amin, don't believe him. So the Rebbe in many sichos explains, what's the difference? Torah is also Chochma say. Torah is also Chochma. Why is it that Goyim have Chachma, but they don't have Torah. What's the difference between Chachma and Torah? So the Rebbe explains, to give a mashal, a doctor who knows medicine very well, and yet he won't live a healthy lifestyle. He'll drink, he'll smoke, he'll fresh, whatever. He'll eat unhealthy foods. The question, he's a big doctor, he can give you a lecture for who knows what, and yet he'll do it. So what's the answer? The knowledge is like Aristotle says, now I'm not Aristotle. Meaning, what I know is not, I don't practice the way I preach, so to speak. Not even preaching, just to yourself, you know what's wrong. That's what Alter Rebbe is saying over here. That is an encompassing level. Understanding the greatness of Hashem will still not stop you from sinning, this type of person. Why? Because what I know is not permeating me. It's not affecting me directly. It's only affecting me indirectly. Torah yesh bagay. Torah is, the Zohar says, Torah, guidance. Torah is living what you learn. If you don't live what you learn, then it's not Torah. And therefore the Rambam writes in Hilchos Deis, a Chacham is nicker, b'achilasi, b'shtiyasi, b'tiyulai. You can tell a Chacham the way he eats, a Torah Chacham, the way he eats, the way he drinks, the way he walks. Because Torah dictates how a Jew should live. So therefore he says, that's what Torah is, and the role of a Jew is not to meditate into the greatness of Hashem, because that's not going to permeate you. It's like he says, in Mash'en k'mechinas gilu, halias negei la'atzmis hanefesh. When you realize, not only you know, you feel, therefore the nefesh can't handle anymore being in the body of what he wants is his ruach and neshama of the neshama should be gathered to Hashem, meaning one with Hashem. The nefesh b'mkeira.
Not the Torah permeate the stone, but not permeate me.
Because, first of all, Torah, in order to permeate the stone, takes many years.
Oh,
Rabbi Akiva didn't take a day or two.
But the Torah, it said,
But I'm saying is like this. The pasuk says, "Basireisi in Chumash, Basireisi is sleva evan mikibechem." Hashem will remove the stone heart from within you. Now, what does it mean, a stone heart? When you put something on a stone, it falls off. It doesn't permeate the rock. It falls off. A person many times has a stoned heart. What do you mean a stoned heart? Whatever you learn, right and wrong, godliness, it just drips off. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't permeate into the heart. If it doesn't permeate into the heart, nothing's going to happen from it. It's not going to change you. Now, we are the ones that create this stone heart.
yeah, but if Torah is such a high level of kedusha, it should permeate.
Rabbi, chisel in
It could and it should, but it's up to us to allow it to permeate. If you don't let it, it's not going to happen. Of course, Torah could permeate, but you have to let it. Like he said, you want light, open the curtain. You can't leave the curtain closed and scream it's dark in here. You want light, you want light, open the window, open the curtain. Who's stopping you? The reason why the sunlight is not coming into the room is because you created a blockage of it. Huh?
The barrier.
Yeah. What? No, what are you saying?
I'm saying, it says in Perek, I'll take
Chorus
the
alacheres.
In other words, you have to,
En ben yeah.
to permeate. The rock has to be permeated.
That's
That's what we do, Rabbi, with a diamond. We do that. We cut it.
I'm saying
We
something
cut it,
else of it.
permeate it.
What?
Saying Torah is such a high level, it should burn through the curtain. It should destroy the curtain.
hear what I said just now?
Then whose Torah is it? Whose Torah is it?
Shamayim, Avon
Is
Shlomo.
it our doing or God's doing?
It's God's doing.
So that's worthless. Now, God forbid, worthless. But that's not how Hashem created the world. I probably said this many times. I promise you, Hashem wants Mashiach more than we do.
That's not in the Miyah.
Hashem wants Mashiach because right now, Hashem is forced not to reveal himself. Yeah, he made this, he set up the problem himself. But the bottom line is, yeah, Hashem is in Golus. Hashem is suffering. Imei anoichi b'tzara. I'm together with you in the tzara. Hashem is suffering in Golus. Shchinta b'galusa. Yeah? Hashem wants Mashiach. As long as we have a good steak, with a nice whatever. It's good. Okay, so who wants Mashiach more? Hashem wants Mashiach more. So the question is, just bring him. Who's stopping him? Who's stopping Hashem from bringing Mashiach? So the answer is, to have a Mashiach that God made, I don't want to use the word worth, but to clarify, it's worthless. Of course God could do it. What's the big deal? Dira b'tachteinim doesn't mean that Hashem wants that he should make a dira b'tachteinim. He wants that we should make a dira b'tachteinim. So, yeah, Hashem could be, Torah is very powerful. Torah could permeate everything. Torah breaks everything. Torah melts everything. The question is, if Torah does it on its own, then it's Hashem's doing. Like we learned many times. The beginning of creation, Eilam al nivra, Eilam al beluy nivra. The Medrash says Hashem created a perfect world. Right? And we learn, why did Hashem make Yechatei Tzadas? Because Hashem said, me make a perfect world, big deal. What I want is you make a perfect world. It has to be you. It has to be our Torah.